This is an announcement for the following student. Kit from Naranja Academy. Miss Breyer would like to see you in classroom 1-4. She has some important news to share with you regarding the terrestrial phenomenon. Cool. As I guess first talked with Breyer. Hey Kit, glad to see you. You feeling rested and recovered from a big adventure down in the Underdepths? Yeah. Oh, youth is really an inviolable thing. I'm still feeling all wrung out despite having been back for a while now. But on to why I called you here. Since our return, I've been writing up everything we discovered on our expedition. Honestly, I've hardly slept. I obtained Guy's permission to turn it all into a book, but don't worry, I made sure to skip a few details and omit the names of those involved. So voila, a proof copy of the book, freshly delivered from my publisher, just for you. Oh, a proof copy of the exploration notes covering the areas that are under it. It's filled with long paragraphs describing what happened, along with Briar's thoughts. I behaved recklessly in the Underdepths. I don't know what would have done if it weren't for you.
That's an understatement.
You truly deserve a copy of this book. I just hope it's sufficient as an apology. Ah, but there was something else I need to check with you. Would you mind showing me your terror orb? Sure. Just as a thought, it's behaving just like Karen and Carmen's orbs. I think it might be because your orbs are directly exposed to the energy from Terrapagos. Karen and Carmen say that ever since Underdepths, they've been able to terrestrialize their Pokémon without charging their terror orbs.
Cheater.
Actually, there's one more piece of news I should share with you related to Deep Steps. You know the terrarium core that hangs from the ceiling of the terrarium? Well, until now, I've been keeping it topped with a mixture of Paldean soil and water from the crystal pool in Kitakami. That's how we've been able to stabilize the terrestrial phenomenon on our academy grounds. But the other day I tried to add crystals I'd collected from the Underdepths to that mix, and it caused properties of the core to change. The result? Pokemon shining in rainbow colors have started appearing all over the terrarium. And they have the Stellar Terror type. Thanks to this, my research in terrestrial phenomenon is shining brighter than ever. Stellar type terrestrialization grants a boost to moves, but only once per move type. After you use the move, no other moves of the same type will get the boost. In Terraria battles, all moves will be boosted without limit. Oh, and there's one last thing. A man in a blue suit was looking for you over the entrance of the academy. Oh? That's all I have to report for now. Thanks for setting aside some time to chat. I'm off to pay a visit to my publisher, so I'll leave you to it. Next time we meet, I'll ask you for a good long look at Terrapagos. Till then, I'm off to go suck the soul out of someone else.
Yeah!
Alright, let's go check what's going on in the other classroom. Kit, you have my thanks for all you've done to help the League Club, and to Kieran. Once he became champion, Kieran withdrew himself entirely from our ranking system. Ooh. Though I consider this somewhat sad, it's not as if he and I can no longer meet. More than anything, I'm glad he seems to be acting like his former self once more. Indeed, I have swept up in joy to such an extent that I prepared a tremendous amount of the flight-enabling supplement used in my trial. Yes!
That's why you're steel clapping?
Please feed your Aegeus an appropriate portion of it whenever we wish to fly. Yes! 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 Permanent flying! Give it to me! Give it to me now!
Boy, that could be taken a number of ways.
What? You want to fly right now? Please slow down, the supplement was never meant to be eaten such a large... We'll be able to fly! Yes! Yes! It would seem your Aegeus says powered up somehow. From the looks of it, I would guess it has gained the power to fly whenever you wish it to. Well, I suppose this is an acceptable outcome. As it happens, there's a super hard course for my flying time child. You may attempt it upon clearing the hard course. Feel free to do so when you're ready. Koraidon can now freely fly through the air. If you press the left stick while gliding, Koraidon will keep moving forward automatically while it's flying. If you press the left stick again, it will go back to gliding.
Time for Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Time for me to go. So long. Yes! Permanent flying, let's go, baby! Now I gotta get out of here. Ah. There you are, kid. Just the person I was looking for. I heard the news. You're the new BB League champion, am I right? I'll admit, I'm blown away. Inviting you to this academy was the best decision I made recently. So, now that you've had some time to get comfortable here, how do you find Blueberry Academy? Are you having fun? Good, good. Just what I like to hear. Anyway, there's a small favor I'd like to ask of you. You see, the whole academy is becoming so much more lively and energetic since you came here. And that got me thinking, maybe you should have even more people visit from Paldea. Have them come as special coaches or something. You know a lot of people, right? You got lots of friends and everything. I mean, like, teachers from your school, gym leaders, that sort of thing. Oh, and any strong friends of ours are also welcome here. Leave it to me.
That doesn't explain why you're dressed as an exorcist.
Spoken like a true champion. I know you were the right person to ask.
I'm off to get some chicken.
You can use Clevery Computer to contact anyone you want to invite. Oh, but it'll cost BP. You'll need to pay for their trip and such. Here's some to get you started. I mean, I still had a bunch left over, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, I still have like 22,000. The power of group BBQs, everybody. I think I'll arrange for a special coach to stay in this clever room when you're not teaching. You should have a chat with them while they're here. Now then, I'll leave it to you. Enjoy.
Daddy needs a new pair of shoes.
Inviting special coaches. Using the PC in the league room, you can invite your friends and acquaintances from the Paldea region to visit Blueberry Academy as special coaches who you can talk and battle with. You can have a max of 2 visitors over at a time. So this is where it gets awkward. So,
As if it wasn't already.
So, as you can see, I have all the gym leaders. The problem is, I can't actually invite every single possible coach because some of the coaches are locked behind the classes that we never finished. So, I'm probably not going to show all the coaches via this because I need to go grind those out at some point. Aha! This must have been who was being discussed earlier. Oh ho ho! Would you look at the cut of your jib? You must be one everyone's talking about.
Man, look at the lamb chops on that guy.
You're the Paldea exchange student, kid, or my name's not Snacksworth. Yes, indeed. Call me Snacksworth. I do love to see the young students putting some real effort into their self-improvement. Especially the kids who really give all their all for the old BBQs. I reward them with snacks. These snacks I make are very special treats, made just for the taste of certain Pokemon. With one of my snacks on hand, you might find yourself running into quite spectacular Pokemon. So, come give old Snacksworth the latest whenever you've been hard at work on those BBQs.
Man, I used to have sideburns for a little while when I was younger, and I don't know what the I was thinking, other than I was just too lazy to shave it. That's literally the only reason. I was just too lazy to shave it. And then I realized how stupid it was. Like, yeah, that's gotta go.
Now, let's see if you've been chipping away at those BBQs or not. Heavens to Betsy, you've gone and completed a group quest. I'd say you earned yourself one of my special snacks. So, now that we've finished the main Indigo Disc story, we can now go hunt for a very large amount of legendary Pokemon now. The first one we got was a Rayquaza treat. So each treat is for a different legendary.
It had to be Rayquaza of all things. I think deserves to die in a fire.
You know Rayquaza, frightfully rare that one. Not your run-of-the-mill Pokemon. Speaking of Rayquaza, I do recall this one particular encounter when I was a younger feller. I was doing a bit of mountain climbing, hauling myself up some mighty steep Paldean cliffs. When I made it to the top, and now that was the kind of sight a man lives for. I looked down over the edge and see a white mist, unbroken as far as the eye can see. There was something truly mystical about it all. And what came bursting out of the dense fog but old Rayquaza, like a cork out of a bottle. I nearly fell down the mountain in shock. It loves that snack you have there, so you might just have a shot at me too. If you run into old Rayquaza, you be sure to give it my best. I'd say you earn yourself one of my special snacks. A Lugia treat. Now that's a Lugia treat. You know Lugia? Preferably rare. Speaking of Lugia,
You don't have to say that every time.
I was paddling a sea off Paldea, enjoying a leisurely backstroke through those crystal waters. It was a real frigid stretch of sea, you understand? Didn't take long in that water before you'd start to lose all the warmth in my body. I was shaking like a leaf by the time I found an island and crawled ashore. What should appear before me but a great whirlpool heaving in the sea, and whoosh! Out it comes Lugia itself. I was knocked flat on my backside in the shock of it all. So delighted I forgot it was even cold. I was off enjoying a spot of backshore and seas south of Paldea at the time. I'd been going on for a good while, so I'd come and feel a bit tickered out and I needed a rest. Came ashore to rest on the sand in the shadow of some cliffs. When you won't believe it, there's Laias just right there before me. Our eyes met and gave me a jolly little smile, then flew off again out of sight. Oh gosh, not Rayquaza. I was sitting in the stream of one of Paldea's waterfalls, letting the pound of water cleanse my mind. When I looked up and saw Necrozma sat right up above, giving me the ugliest glare. I thought it'd be unwise for me to not stand my ground, so I squared up and roared as loud as the water. That old Necrozma flew off like a shot.
Sure it did.
And it wasn't just Necrozma either. That shot of mine sent all the nearby sawsbugs scattering, too. Wouldn't you know it? See, I was climbing up the snowy mountains when a terrible storm blew in, and I had no choice but to hunker down in a cave underground. Don't even rightly know if I should call that place a cave. It was all soaring heights and wide passages, befuddled as any labyrinth, too. I was having a grand time exploring its main nooks and crannies when the sheer of ice near me suddenly up and moved. I rubbed my eyes, not believing what I'd seen. Once I realized it was no ice sheet, it was Kiara right there in front of me. Who would believe it, huh? It was just a regular day and I was out doing a bit of my beloved rock climbing as I won't do. I made it up quite high. When I turned around for breath, I could just make out Cortano in the distance off to the south. I was simply standing there admiring that view, when next thing I knew, Terrakion had plonked down for a sit right beside me.
Sure it did.
Perhaps it was simply at loose ends. It sat with me for a time and we ate some snacks together. I set out from Messagoza thinking I could walk all the way out to Artizon from there. I was making fine progress when this great black shadow streaks across the sky to the east. I was consumed with curiosity, that's for sure, so I climbed real high to try to get a better look. And wouldn't you know it, it was Zekrom. I started out like a country lad seeing his first city, and it came down to land right near me. We watched one another for a time. I couldn't help but bask in how magnificent Zekrom is. I was on one of my adventures of Paldea when Cobalion just pranced on down from a cliff. I was real flummoxed at first when it stopped right before me. He was just pausing to stare because my face looked so funny. Anyway, that old Cobalion started to stroll away, so I followed. It led me to a famed waterfall. I tried to say thanks, but old Valley just dashed off into the bamboo grove, cool as you please. I was on another one of my adventures around Paldea when I spotted these old rocks in the sea. I thought to myself, now Saxworth, those gotta be those famous rocks said to bring riches. So I figured I might as well squeeze my eyes shut real tight and make a wish on them. After a few seconds I opened my eyes and what should appear in front of those rocks but a Kyogre. Just big and blue and brazen as you please. Now that was a shocking day, make no mistake. I was off hiking among Paldean peaks for a bit of fun, mountain climbing being a bit of a hobby. I was taking my sweet time meandering up some mountain paths all sparsely with trees. I came upon this old ruin on the path covered in vines. I thought to myself, now, doesn't that seem a good place as any to take a rest? I had no sooner drawn clues for a look than this black shadow of a Pokemon appeared. Spectre had been sleeping inside. It popped its long face out and scared the spirit out of me. I'll tell you no lies, I simply came across Verizia resting among the trees one day while I was on one of my adventures across Paldea. And what trees they were, all done up in these mysterious patterns like I'd never seen. We stood there a good while, me and Verizia, gazing at one another betwixt those beautiful trees. But that old Verizon, he didn't run off, just gave me this curious look, you know. So I sat there and told her about my adventures and listened with a kindly air the whole time. I was on a fine sunny beach in Paldea, gazing out at the sun as it set into the sea. Looking at the sun really reminds you just how small you are as one person, you know? I was getting all sentimental as I watched the light slipping away. It hadn't yet disappeared when suddenly this great crescent moon bloomed before my eyes. It was only there for an instant, so it was hard to get a good look. But I'm sure that silhouette belonged to Lanala, or my name's not Snacksworth. Alright, now that we finished the group quests, it's now gonna start giving me the solo quest ones, which would be my version's legendaries. Because the way this works is you can technically get all the snacks for all the Pokemon. However, they are split between the two versions, and the only way to get them to show up in your version, if they are from the other version, is to do group quests.
That's dumb.
Yeah, it's not great. Now there's a real old tale from those long ago days when I just started out as a trainer. I was down in the southwest of Paldea near the Cascade waterfalls down there. I've been up through the night, training without rest, trying to make my Pokemon stronger. Then Ho-Oh appears in the sky above me, glittering and sparkling bright as you ever saw. I'd sure love to believe that it appeared there to cheer me on when I was trying so hard. We ended up having a little contest of skill, seeing which one of us could get all the way to shore fastest. We're off like a shot, but that Suicune, well, it runs right over water now, doesn't it? Me being just as my everyday human, the best I could manage was a nice solid backstroke. It was a fine race though, my fine, even if Suicune did end up beating me by a whisker. I was off hiking among Paldea's peaks for a bit of fun, mountain climbing being a bit of a hobby. I was trekking up and up those snowy hillsides, and I figured I must have been nearly to the summit when I came across some ruins. Perhaps they'd been a house once. The walls still looked sound enough that I thought I could take shelter and have myself a little rest. I no sooner drawn close for a look than there's Pokemon up here, white as driven snow. Last year has been sleeping inside. When it popped its long face out, the fright nearly froze my heart. I climbed right up to the tippy top of one of those lighthouses you got in Paldea, and I was taking the view looking over a distant city. When, would you believe it, the heavens broke wide open and rain started pouring down on me. I thought I'd better get out of that mist in a hurry, so I turned to head down again. When the whole sky lit up with a huge crash of lightning and Zapdos came flying out of nowhere. It blew right by me, quick as a flash. I'd gone to pay Paldean's Pokemon League a little visit at that time building they got there. I was just a mile instruction from outside when one of the staffers noticed me and invited me in for a bad look. They took me up to the observation deck, all done up with that logo of theirs. I was looking toward the academy enjoying the view when a shadow fell upon us. I kid you not, young friend, it was Sol Galeo himself. It was only there for a moment before it dashed right off again in a flash, so I couldn't even get it. How do you do? But it was magnificent. I was off doing a spot of rock climbing over in western Paldea at the time. The weather was sure something else that day. Sandstorms were kicking up the ground, my mouth was as sandy as the ground. I was about ready to call it quits when Moltres has appeared in a blaze of glory, so bright you could see through the blowing sands. I don't know if it meant to cheer me on, but it certainly did and completed my climb that day. One day I ran smack dab into a breeze as you please while I was up in northwest Paldea, you see. We couldn't speak each other's language, but I got the feeling it was telling me to follow it. So I gave chase when Ladia flew off and ended up climbing these mountain steep cliffs. Next time I looked up, a riz come to a small lake nestled in between some jagged cliffs. It was a secret spot, alright. I did spy old Groudon once, back in the days when I was adventuring around Paldea. You know the huge cave system under that one town? I never even remember the name. Anyway, the name doesn't matter, except to say that's the place where I saw the feather. I thought to myself, well, if that ain't Groudon, and I gave him a big wave of my arms to say hello. What else are you supposed to do when faced with the continent of Pokemon, I asked you. So anyway, I did that and it showed me his huge face of claws that it did.
And this freaking guy.
It doesn't help that there is actually quite a few legendaries you can get via this system.
It doesn't help that this freaking guy has to have a life for every single one. You can't just give them to all at once.
Well, normally people are supposed to chip away at this over time. I just didn't do that.
Doesn't mean we don't need to have a freaking life for every single one.
See, I saw a restaurant with my own eyes, out near a town that I passed through in Paldea. It was a town where a lot of hard-working folk live, the type that get their hands dirty. I'd climb up a nice height to look out upon all their hard work carved into the landscape. I was just remarking to myself what a fine show of effort it was, when I seemed to feel a presence behind me, and then I turned, bam! There was Reshiram right at my shoulder. I figured it was just a good old-fashioned hard work too. Yes, there was a day me and old Raikou went racing up a mountain together. That Raikou, it's no slouch, that's for sure, kept dashing past me and taking the lead. I was huffing and puffing and muttering some other things as I chased that wily Pokemon. But in the end, we were sitting side by side atop that peak, gazing out upon the massive and majestic desert that covers the land to the north. I was venturing off in Paldea when I saw Kung-Fu training. I ambled right up to it and asked, "Oh ho ho, how's the training, are you?" While the two of us gone like a house on fire. We trained together for a time till Kung-Fu seemed to be itching to move on. But let me get it plucked up a hollow of bamboo sprouts that grew nearby, just for me. Would you believe it? I simply ran smack dab into Entei while I was venturing in Paldea. You know that stretch that started with mines and everywhere you looked there's another hole? Well, there was Entei popping through those caves like it was having a grand old time. I don't like to be outshone, so I did my best to keep up with the filler. Woo-wee, what a chase. Went all the way at the coast side by side as we gazed out over the endless blue. See, I found this lovely pond in the snowy peaks of Paldea and decided to go for a dip. Hanker for a bit of cold water swimming. Wouldn't you believe it? Articuno comes swooping down along the nearby waterfall and starts flying above me, singing away.
Here it was.
I was tickled pink, I went on merrily singing with Articuno, even as the sun set and the moon rose. Before I knew it, it was morning again. Oh, well, knock me over the bell. Looks like you completely cleared me out of snacks.
Finally, damn.
Simply goes to show how much hard work you put into those BBQs, Kit. I'm afraid I have no more sacks, but please stop by and lend an ear to my old tenors now and then.
Yeah, probably not as much as work as it took for you to come up with all the lies. Damn.
I'm assuming he'll just randomly tell me one. Ah, I get to pick.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
You sure you want to mosey on without hitting one of my tails? No need to be shy. Nah, we're good. We're good. Holy smokes. That was longer than I was expecting that to take. That really did.
What are you talking about? That's shorter than talking to the average old person. It's like if that had been my grandpa, you would have been like 2 or 3 hours longer.
Oh,